Your office, in association with the New York Immigration Coalition, has published a guide to public benefits for immigrants. New York City has compared to other cities, has a pretty comprehensive safety net of services that are available for immigrants, and sort of, in many cases, a sort of don't ask, don't tell, policy towards undocumented immigrants. I mean, you can, if you're a pregnant, undocumented woman, you can get prenatal care. You can go to a public hospital, deliver your baby, and you can get some care after that. You can get medical benefits for the children of undocumented immigrants, Head Start, kindergarten, food stamps. It's just good. And what changes, if any, would you want to make in that safety net?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for asking that question, because one of the things I'm most proud of that my office has done is we just published a guide for immigrants. First time ever, first time ever in New York City. It may be the first time in the country where all of the information is available in one place, which says, here are all the benefits that you as an immigrant are eligible for, given your classification of immigration. I did it all with private money through my not-for-profit, and we have had 60,000 requests for this guide, and I am looking for people to help us fund it so we can do more than just get the 60,000, fill those requests. We want to expand and do a whole huge distribution in New York, particularly with what the recession is bringing into the city, because this is federal money that could be coming into the city to help immigrants who are eligible, and they really don't know in most cases, or they're afraid, or they just don't know how to apply for these benefits. And this guide gives them all that information. So I'm very, very proud of it. And I believe that the more we can get that information out to all the not-for-profits, to all the small community-based organizations, we have lots of partnerships. Last week I was out in Brighton Beach with the Metropolitan Council on Jewish Poverty to do it in front of the Russian community to give them the immigration guide. And I plan to do that all over the city in the next 9 months. And I'm very proud and pleased of the response to what we have done. And finally, I think it's very important to get the information out, Sheryl. So I just want to say, please, anybody who's interested in our immigration guide, it's online, but they can call our office at 212-669-7200 to get We'll send it to them. We will help people through looking at it. It's very, very comprehensive, and as I said, it's in 7 languages.
But also, the immigrants aside, I mean, I believe one of the things you did early on was to get a simplified application for welfare-type benefits and food stamps. How long was it before the application
16
form?
pages.
16?
16 pages.
Wow.
Now, let me give you that as an example that goes back to your
applying to law school.
Right. I couldn't fill it out. We had 16 pages for people to sign on for food stamps. We found out that in upstate New York it was 4 pages. So after 6 months of meetings and bringing the state down, blah, 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 we were able to get the application down to 4 pages. And I'm very proud of that. However, the press wasn't very interested in that accomplishment. And again, why? I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't very interesting to the press, but it was very interesting to me, and I think we think that about 70,000 more people signed on to food stamps as a result of our effort. Not only the simplifying the application, but a big outreach project that we did, and I raised some private money and was able to do a huge outreach project, and we think about 70,000 more people signed on to food stamps.
You've said you're not going to run, even though you could run again. You just said you're not going to. Why?
Well, I was very much against the way in which the overturning of term limits happened, and I was out front on that. Again, it would have been very hard for me, after saying I'm against overturning term limits without going to referendum, to turn around and say to New Yorkers, well, now I can run again, so forget about what I said 2 months ago or a month ago. Vote for me again. I just felt it was the wrong thing to do. I've done it for 8 years. I love this job. I think it's a very important job, but I feel just the way it was done and the fact that I just can't see running again under these circumstances. So I'm very excited. I like to repot myself, and I'm going to do something else.
What do you have in mind? What do you think?
Well,
I'm
talking to lots of different people. I love this whole access to benefits issue. To me, it's a very important issue in the city of New York and elsewhere in the country. The fact that there's all this money out there that's available to us, and we're not taking advantage of it. I just don't get it, because we're always complaining, right? Politicians are always complaining. We send much more money to Washington or to Albany than they send back to us. But then there's all this money hanging out there that's available to us, and we're not really getting it. So that's an area that I'm very interested in, and I'm going to pursue looking into that.
We've got about 1 minute left.
Okay.
Anything you want to say about the people that you know who are running for your job?
Well, I'm also I'm very pleased. I've had them all in to talk about the office, and what I see are the pitfalls to the office, the obstacles to the office, and what I believe are the great things about this office. They've all been very receptive. I think there's a lot of really good young people running, and I think that they are very energetic, and they have a great idea. They may run it differently. And
who is running? What are the names that you know of?
The names people that are running are Eric Joya. He's a councilman from Queens, very energetic, very smart. He's a big food stamp person. He lived on food stamps for, I think it was a month or a week. I think that was interesting. Bill de Blasio, who's also a councilman who's head of the General Welfare Committee. Mark Green is running again for re-election, and Norman Siegel's running. I think 3 other people dropped out as a result. But we have interviewed all, and there's a Republican from Staten Island who is coming in, I think, to talk to us next week.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the next person does with the job,
to
see what you do next.
Thank you.
We're out of time. I want to thank New York City Public Advocate Betsy Gotbaum for joining me for the City University of New York and 1-to-1. I'm Sheryl McCarthy.